This is Thank You Mama, weekly lessons from mothers all around the world. Those of you who have been listening for a while and those of you who know me know that my mom was a movie star. She was a true movie star back then in the 70s and 80s in Yugoslavia, which means mom was making movies. Mom's face was on covers of magazines. She was often photographed, interviewed, received awards. We went to movie premieres, and yes, she was also often recognized on the streets and restaurants and everywhere we went. And it's fun when I tell people my mom was a movie star to see their reaction, and they're quite in awe. But the reality was quite different. Mom was not rich because back then in Yugoslavia, people were paid the same, no matter if you were a movie star or if you were a cook in a restaurant. That's socialism for you. So she also had a day job. She worked as a graphic designer in a school magazine. So when I interviewed Audrey, she gave me a little surprise because at one point, as you will hear, she tells me how her mom is a queen. And she left me a little bit shocked and surprised and very excited that I get to interview a daughter of a queen and get to learn from a queen. But like with my mom, as you will hear in the interview, things are never as shiny as they sound. And Audrey's mom did have quite a difficult childhood and was separated from her mom and had to struggle and take care of herself financially and in many other ways. So that for me was one of the big lessons of today's interview, how you never know what things really are like, especially not today in the days of social media. Listen to this wonderful interview and learn from Queen Lucy. Hello and welcome to Thank You Mama. My name is Anna Teider. My guest today is Audrey Kodjo. Audrey is originally from the Benin Republic. She is also a Webster University Vienna alumna, like I am, the very same university I'm teaching at right now and being such a happy professor. Audrey also works at the UNIDO, which is the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and is the founder of Diaspora Creatives. And I'm very excited to say hello to Audrey and to learn more from her, both about UNIDO and what UNIDO does, but also about her Diaspora Creatives. Hi, Audrey, welcome.
Hi, Anna. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here and exchange with you.
I'm so excited you're here. I learned about Audrey because Audrey organized a symposium at Webster University a few weeks ago called Empower Her, where for 2 days she gathered women, as I gather, from all around the world to inspire, motivate, and empower themselves or each other. And it was a great success. I unfortunately found out about it when it was too late, but I do really want to join next year. I'm really excited about it. Audrey, tell us more about yourself and all these awesome things you're doing.
Thank you so much. So where can I start with? The most difficult questions come to when it comes to tell us about you, right? So I am Audrey Kodjo from Benin Republic, currently working at the UNIDO as a project associate where we work with technical cooperation projects towards African countries.
Mm-hmm. Audrey, tell the listeners what UNIDO is, because when us living in Vienna and being surrounded with all these international organizations, we know. Can you just very shortly explain what UNIDO is or does?
Yeah. So UNIDO is the United Nations Industrial Development Organization that supports, as the name says, industrial development in African countries, but not only in Asia, Latin America, so the whole world. And they are working to meet the Sustainable Development Goals, and they are within the UN system, the United Nations framework, and we have all these common goals that we're trying to achieve to make the world a better place, promoting peace, security, education, development. Yeah. And that's in a nutshell what UNIDO is.
And the headquarters are here in Vienna?
Yes, UNIDO's headquarters is in Vienna. Yeah.
When did you and how leave the Benin Republic?
Oh, wow. I left Benin in 2011, I'd say. But I left a while before that, but I came back and then really left with my family in 2011. And we came to Austria with my dad because he was also working in an international organization. But I still kept the connection with my country, thanks to my parents and my mom particularly. And we always traveled back there every 2 years when I was still living with them. A lot less since I left the house, but I hold my country very dear to my heart, and I like to promote everything that is Africa or Benin related. Yes.
And you just told me the family is now in Rome.
Yes, exactly. My mom, my dad, and my 2 brothers live in Rome. They've been there, if I'm not mistaken, for more than 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
They really love it. They really love it, yeah.
And you are in France.
So I'm living in between France and Austria. So I always say my blood is in France because I have a 4-year-old daughter and she lives here with my husband. But my job, my friends, my network is in Austria.
Oh, Audrey, how similar that sounds. Oh, how familiar that sounds. Oh,
Yeah.
I know it very well, worlds being torn apart in
Right.
different countries and continents and places. But there's a certain magic to it, isn't it? I'm trying to be grateful for that.
Yes, for sure.
Tell me about Diaspora Creatives.
Diaspora Creatives is the organization I co-founded with my husband with the aim to promote talents and creatives that are from diaspora in Europe. We focus on all diaspora communities, but we have a very hard and special focus on African diaspora, simply because there are many. We are used to, at least I am used to hearing a lot of negative narratives, stories about the African continent, and it's easily common in the news, in social media, and many people know less about this continent. And Diaspora Creatives was founded with the base to promote positive narratives. This is talking about the contribution that diaspora creatives and talent have in the society, telling about their resilient stories, their journeys in Europe, and also, most importantly, telling about the diversity, the innovation they bring to the institutions, the countries, and the areas that they are all involved in. So that's how Diaspora Creatives was created. And we have some different areas where we work with. Events and networking are part of this, community building as well, but also really a lot of promotion and visibility on creatives' work and storytelling. So yeah, that's a nutshell.
Audrey, let's talk about Mama Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
Will you tell us about her story and her life?
So first of all, Mama Lucy is what's the word in English? Okay, she's discreet. She's discreet. She doesn't like to tell about her story, although she's very sensitive and she has a very rich and resilient story that I can share. She's from the center north of Benin. She's a queen, or can I say a princess? Because she's from the country we call the village we call Savalu, and Savalu is ruled by kings, and all the kinship in that region is only allowed for a certain family, and she comes from that family, and it might be difficult to pronounce, but it's Bagidi. Every woman you hear named Bagidi, so the last name Bagidi, you understand they come from this kingdom, and she's really attached to culture, really attached to family. I will definitely go into that a bit later, but
Audrey, sorry to interrupt you, but now I'm, full of pictures in my head and very excited. We never had a mama princess or a mama queen on the show before. I wanted to ask you two things.
Mm-hmm.
Can you locate for my listeners Benin on the map of Africa?
So Benin is in West Africa, on the left of Nigeria.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in between Nigeria and Togo.
Okay.
So you have a small country which looks like a tree.
How many inhabitants does it have?
Approximately 14 million.
14 million.
That's
That
what
is
Google
not
says.
small, because Austria is 8 million, Croatia is
Yeah.
4 million. These are my countries. These are my
That's true.
countries.
Yeah.
How can I visualize the village, the Savalo village?
Okay, so it's already bigger than the village. It's one of the cities, and it has a population of, it says here, 35,000 people. I visited Savalu 2 years ago with my mom, and for me, it was the first time she took me to the kingdom, where the king lives.
Oh, the palace.
The palace, exactly.
Okay.
The palace. And so when you go to the palace, you're able to only visit the entrance and also take the route of tourists. But immediately when we came in, and she greeted the people there and said, yeah, my name is... So first, it's funny, I have to say, first, she didn't want to reveal who she was because, as I say, she likes to be discreet. Then when we got in and she saw the interest that I was having in looking at the place and very excited, she ended up saying, okay, yes, do you know this person? That was my father. And they said, oh, so you're also a princess. Okay, let me take you inside where the king lives. And then they ended up calling the king himself, who received that in his house. So I was really honored, very proud at that moment. And when I was visiting the palace, I was really beautiful. You could see the mountains. So it's a city with a lot of mountains, green. It's serene. I mean, at least that's how I felt. People there also attached to culture, so it's a bit. I had to be careful about how to approach the elders, where to walk, because there's still everything is sacred, and I always relied on my mom on telling me or explaining me how to do things, how to walk around. Thankfully, I was with my aunt, so my mom's elder sister, who lives in Benin. So she also kept more of these traditions, even more than my mom, because when she left, there's some things that she might have forgotten. So I had those two ladies who were there guiding me, and with my dad, and we knew, she told us, at this place, you take off your shoes. We took off our shoes, walked into the palace, and after we drove in the city, and it was really, a great experience for me. Getting back to the roots and where I come from, I felt proud to come back and say, hey, I'm daughter of a princess. And I met the king.
But so tell us, so she was born in Benin, in this aristocratic or royal family.
Yes.
What happened? Because you told me earlier about resilience. I guess there is a story.
Yes. So she was born there. She grew up. She still, of course, went through a lot of hardship in life. Did not grow up with her mom all the time. Was put into families for foster families for care for a while, and then had to quickly become independent herself so that she can support her mom because the kinship was not directly with her father but with other family relatives, so it's not as if she benefited at least financially from the kid, but rather with culture, with traditions, of course. They had to be involved in those areas, but when it comes to financially surviving economically, there were hardships, and she was resilient back then with her parents and family. She spoke less of those. I don't know if it's pride. Maybe she was either she was being proud, or maybe she was protecting us from what we would feel from what she went through. And she just browsed upon it. She told us she grew up in other family households. They didn't treat her well. And
do you know why? Did she ever tell you why? What happened? Did her mom?
She never told me.
She never told you why. Did she tell you how many brothers or sisters she had?
Oh yes, she has one brother and two sisters. The third one passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Unfortunately, twins, actually. My grandma had twins, and both of them passed away. But yeah, she has one brother, two sisters, and all three actually the same way. Maybe it's the way they were brought up, but all of them are very discreet with what happened in the family. And I know that they didn't have an easy life growing up, which of course fell back on how she raised us, because she gave up a lot so that we won't have that life. She always tells me, she always uses these sentences when she's speaking to me when I'm not feeling good. She says, I've already been through all the hardships for you, so you don't have to go through them again. And it's very, very moving that when she says this, and I feel it. Sorry, I'm very...
It's okay. Is it reassuring? Does it make you feel better when she says that?
I don't know if it does. Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it's like, no, Mama, it's my hardship. I'm going through it as well.
Yes, and sometimes like, no, I mean, I have to go through them as well. You don't need to go through them for me. So there were hardships for her during her growing up, but there were also hardships in her marriage with my dad. And this wasn't easy for her. This I know a little bit because I experienced those, and I experienced her feelings during those issues. And in a way, it shaped me to become the woman that I am today. But also, I would have wanted her to not go through all these difficulties. And that's why I said she's resilient, because despite all this, she stuck by my dad, she stuck by us, and she's still doing so, giving up her dreams, her professional.
What were her dreams? Did she have an education or professional dreams or goals?
She had
or
an education, not university, but she was a businesswoman. She was a pharmacist at one point, but then my dad got a job in the north of the country, so she left her work and traveled with my dad in the north of the country. I was a baby at the time. So that was one sacrifice. Another sacrifice, she had businesses, retail businesses, which she also gave up when my dad found a job in Austria. She said, there is no way I am leaving you, and there is no way I'm leaving my children. So care about work. I don't care about money. If you want to take care of me, you take care of me. but I'm coming with you and my kids. And that's, for me, is a lot of sacrifice. It's not easy as a woman to always deal with your dreams, being torn between your dreams and your family and the attachments that you have. And she was one that I think deserves a lot of praise for all the sacrifices she has made.
Yeah. Are they okay now? Because I know from many marriages, including my own, you go through very rough patches and you think, this is it. I'm getting a divorce. And some marriages heal and maybe are even stronger later, and some
Yeah, I agree. She's fine now. They're fine now.
Mm-hmm.
They will celebrate 31 years of marriage. It's the same age as my, because she was pregnant of me when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's not easy. It's never easy. I experienced some of those hardships myself. And sometimes I would, I said, so now I say, if I were you, Mom, I would have left.
Yeah, I know.
I would have left. And I know her, she will not. I just try to be there for her and support her as I can. Also experienced a lot of issues recently with my marriage. So before getting married, and a lot of the encouragement and strength I received actually came from my mom. Had it not been my mom, I don't think I would be here today with my husband. And it's.
So she helped you through your hardships, and you supported her through hers.
I don't know. I can't even say how great her support were. When I was pregnant with my daughter, at 4 months, I almost had a miscarriage. So I had to go through a circlage. And so in this case, it means you had to be lying in bed, no cooking, no standing. And she left my dad and my brothers, my brother who was sick at that time. And she came to live with me, to support me, to help me, to cook. At that time, I was having issues with my husband, but she gave up everything and she came and she was there.
That's incredible.
It's not the first time. Every day there's something happening to any of us. She literally gives up her life to be there for us. And I always say out of pride, maybe I never tell her that, but maybe I should. But there's no words to say how appreciative I am.
Oh, you must do that. Please let this conversation be the trigger to go and tell her. And I was just talking about this in one of my last episodes. We don't express positive things often enough. We sometimes think, oh, they know anyway, or they know how much I love them. They know how grateful I am. You can never tell it loudly and often enough. Please do. Audrey, we have 7 minutes left, and I really want to hear quickly, what do you feel you've learned from her?
First, values and principles are important. There's one sentence I think I say I live by is, if you don't know where you're going, look at where you're coming from. And this is something I will always remember from my mom. When we came to Austria, we left Benin and we came to Austria, and we went to school. Every time we came back at home and we knocked the door, my mom would open the door and look at us and say, any bad habit that you took from that school, drop it at the front of the door. Come into my house.
I love that.
In our mother tongue, she said that. She said, any bad habit that you took from that school that is not according to our values and what I've taught you in life, you just literally drop it in front of the house before you enter. And it resonates so much in my head up to now. And I'm like, every action I'm taking, I'm like, this doesn't go with how I was raised up, the respect that my mom taught me, the values, the roots. So I don't want to go that route. This is what I want. This is something I know I will never forget.
So that's beautiful. Yeah.
What
else do you have?
What else? So
we talked about resilience already.
The importance of family. As about my mom would give up anything for us. She would just give up her life for her children, for my dad. Anything about our well-being, she would take care of. She was literally the backbone of the family. We say macho society, men, they go out and they brag, oh, I'm this and that. But when they come into the house, I mean, when my dad came into the house, my mom was the head of the family, taking care of. So when anything is lost in the house, you go to my mom, she will tell you where it is.
All moms are like that.
Yes. Yes, it's planned. Food is planned, and she already thought about what you will eat, how you will dress up, what's left to be bought from the house. So she's, let's say, the engine. Engine family, and that's something taken away, and also implementing now in my own family. Another thing I can take away from her is spirituality. Prayers. I've learned from her, and I've learned from her mom. Thankfully, my grandma is still alive. It's prayer. It's you need, if a woman in a family prays for the family, it's much more powerful. It's strength. And my mom would just wake up, pray for all of us, wake up and just say a prayer, because she knows what we want, each of us want in our lives, what our dreams are. And she would just like wake up, pray, or when it's needed, she can fast to like invoke all the positive energies, so that we can achieve anything that we want. She's done that for my dad during his professional journey. My dad says my mom is his best lucky charm, actually.
Lucky charm. Is it connected to a certain religion, or does she have her own spiritual thing?
So we are Christian, we're Catholic, and we're very attached to Catholics religion. But we also the Vodou religions in Benin. But we don't practice that. But of course, there are traditions that still comes from there. And there are certain way of praying. For example, eating fruits, aids in prayers, those kind of things she learned while growing up that she implements. For example, when you wake up, the first words that you have to say without speaking to anyone is prayer, because it's immediately what comes from within you, and you are connected with God. And this is something.
I want to start doing that. I'm going to start doing this first thing in the morning. I'm trying to be grateful in the morning when I wake up, but maybe I should do it even more like consciously. I'm going to learn this from Mama Lucy.
She will be glad to teach you this, I'm very sure. So that's something I definitely know.
Okay.
Also implementing.
Before we go, is there anything important that she didn't teach you? Something important you had to learn yourself?
Taking risks is okay. And I can understand where that comes from. It comes from her childhood, raising up, going through many hardships. She just thought, I don't want my kid to, I don't want them to have any bruise. I don't want them to have anything. And unfortunately, that pushed me to not like taking risks. And I wish it was okay to make mistakes sometimes. I learned that it was okay to like just testing and accept any consequence that comes, because it shapes your life. I learned that later. I think it's later in my life and by myself sometimes. And this is the areas where I have miscommunication with her, unfortunately. When
she still doesn't understand it.
She's still very protective of my well-being. So she doesn't want anything to happen to any of us. And I'm like, it's okay, Mom. It's okay.
We're fine.
I'll feel.
Audrey, thank you so much for this very, very beautiful conversation. We learned so much from you. You opened whole new worlds to us. Thank you again for being my guest.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thank you very much for having me. It was really a pleasure to talk about Mama Lucy.
If you enjoy Thank You Mama and want to help it grow, please take the 2 seconds to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps. If you'd like to get in touch, you can send me a mail at info@thankyoumama.net. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Anna Teider, that's Tajder. This was Thank You Mama. Come back next week, subscribe, and tell your friends.